Hello, I'm Marky Dragon, also known as Marcus Eikenberry in real life, and welcome to another episode, another, short video, whatever we want to call them, for Neos Land. We've got a resident wizard here, Mr. Evil. Actually, it's Evil Overlord. I stand corrected.
No. Correct is evilest overlord.
Oh, sorry.
Evil is short.
I can't get that stuff
Because
straight.
evil does not roll off the tongue quite as easily as just plain evil.
Well, because you're here because we're equal opportunity. We allow evil in. We also allow saints in. And then we've got Brian, who's joined us now. Hello, Brian.
Hello, Marcus.
Thank you for joining us, our European counterparts. And then we've got Jacques. Hello, Jacques. Welcome.
Hi, Marcus.
So, just a quick roundup. If you haven't seen any of the other videos or any of the live shows yet, Neos Land is a MMO that we are designing. We meaning you and all the other people who want to play it. So it's the first really big crowd-sourced, crowd-designed MMO. And so NeoJack is, let's see, Jacques here is the CEO of NeoJack and has developed an engine for us to use, and we are going to make great use of it. So, and then we've got Santos, who's here, or Saint, and he's a community manager for Marky Dragon. And then we have Evilist Overlord. Let me get that straight. Evilist Overlord. And
Very close to my unfiltered voice.
yes. And Brian, who both of you guys are just viewers, fans of the game, and you guys have been putting a lot of input on the live shows. And so we asked you here today to help us out with all the questions and everything. So I'm glad to have you guys here.
Happy to be here.
Jacques, how are you feeling about things so far? I see that we are 37 backers now, $4,111. I don't know who donated the $1, but somebody did. And so I think we have a good start.
Yeah, I definitely think it's a good start, and I think as it goes on, more people get a understanding of the game and so on. I think it'll definitely increase as we go along.
And for those of you who are watching this on video, it is part of a playlist. Now, not all of the videos are triggering subscription notifications on my channel, and that's because I didn't want to piss everybody off with spamming them with like 12 videos in 24 hours, but they're going up every two hours until they're caught up to real time. So, anyway, okay, have we got any questions in the queue?
Santos?
And the crowd goes blank. That joke felt like a rock.
There we go.
And
I'm sorry.
I wasn't even joking.
It kind of muted me
Oh,
for
yes.
some reason.
Yes.
Okay.
If you sit with no noise for quite a while, it says, why have the mic open, and it mutes you.
All right. So we have quite a lot of questions in the queue. I'm just going to pick some at random here.
Okay.
We have a first question from Dracotar. He said, based off of the answers before about homes, he wanted to know, will homes degrade over time? For example, would I need to rebuild my roof or rebuild the wooden flooring I placed? And will other players be able to destroy, break into, or burn my house?
We haven't discussed that yet, have we?
We have to a point.
Yeah, I think we have to a point. Go ahead.
Some of us are advocating for being able to break into the house and steal stuff, and we're also advocating for degradation. You have
Of
to
course,
hire somebody
evil.
to,
Yes,
yeah, of course.
evil.
Well, upkeep. If
Yeah.
you're going to have a beautiful house, do you think that's just instantly always beautiful? No. You got to hire somebody to come in and polish that marble and make sure that the wood is painted on a yearly basis and stuff like that. I mean, it makes a lot of this is what makes sense. And
as long as I don't have any issues with that. As long as it's fun. When it becomes a job or work in the game, it's no longer fun, and I don't want that. But
that's why you hire.
I'm just speaking on the player's behalf here. yeah.
I do think though that having players be able to break into your house and stuff like that, we'll have some systems in place that you can protect it and somehow, to depend on what you want to do, right, to cover that. But I think that opportunity must still be there. We don't want to basically build a system where we are basically telling the players how to play the game, and that is one of the things, right? We want to have it open, but have possibilities for both the ones that want that and both the ones that don't want it.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And just, I know there's a lot of people that be very put off by the ability of somebody to break into your house. And what we've discussed so far is that they wouldn't have the ability to come into your house, have completely free reign and wipe everything out. There would be some sort of scale on that or whatnot, or some way to, really protect your valuable items and such like that, because I know that I want the risk and the reward if I break into somebody's house. Not that I'm really much for doing that, but if I were, I could get something. But at the same time, I want it to be, if I have my, horse dung in my house. We haven't talked about this video's reward yet. Maybe we'll do that next. If I want to protect the horse dung in my house, then I need to have a way to do that, maybe at my expense. And other things, like if I'm using coal for the fireplace and somebody wants to come in and steal all my coal, well, go for it. It's not as valuable. And
there's also the possibility that the trap you set allows you to log on and find a bunch of loot sitting in your living room.
Okay,
and
so Jacques, now you said that we could have some sort of interaction with like iOS and Android on our cell phones.
Yeah, we're definitely looking at that.
And so let me just set up this scenario that I can totally see, and that is that I'm sitting in a business meeting. Whoever I am. I'm sitting in a business meeting. I used to have a job working for the government, working cybersecurity. Let's just say I'm in one of my cybersecurity meetings. And I'm sitting there and my phone buzzes, and I look at it, and it says, someone's in your house robbing you right now. I'd be like, oh shit, I gotta go to the bathroom, guys. I'll be back in a few minutes. I run out of the room, I hit my phone, and I say, okay, activate the dragons, or whatever, to protect my house. And they go and they scorch the intruder, and I'm like, whew, I come back, I get a little bit of sweat on my brow, and they're going, damn, you really had to work hard for that, didn't you? I could just see something like this happening, of how we can be so connected to the game through our mobile devices, and this whole risk reward thing. I think there's counters to it to make it all safe and stuff, but I really like that.
Also one thing to remember, right, with breaking of the walls and stuff of housing, that's for say cities fighting against each other and stuff like that, right? Mm-hmm. Like waging war against another guild and stuff like that for guild houses and castles. It opens the doors for all those things very easily, right? And we can start it into the same system, basically.
Yeah, I think that would be good. So
it also gives people incentive to hire guards.
Yes. I think there'd be plenty to counteract all of this. I am just so excited about it, and I just wanted to put the people's minds at ease that there'd be a way to counteract everything. That's part of balance, I think.
Yeah, you have to balance it, right?
Yeah. So, because I don't want the people who fear getting player killed or fear losing items or whatnot to think that that's always going to happen, and that they're going to lose everything every time and stuff. That there might be a learning curve to this stuff, but there'll always be ways to counter it. So, Jacques, let's go on to the next item here real quick, because we talked about doing the daily rewards, and the next reward in here is a globe. And the daily rewards, for those people who don't know, is that if you are today, the first day of the Kickstarter campaign, you get 30 items. On day 29 of the Kickstarter campaign, you get one of these items. and one gets removed each day. So it's really an incentive to to hop in right now. And if you don't know it, if you've never done Kickstarter before, it doesn't charge you until the campaign is done and successful. So it won't. If you do it today, it won't charge you for 30 days. So you don't have to have all that money in your bank account right this minute. You can do your pledge and then run to the bank and deposit it.
Nah.
So, okay, Jacques, what is this globe? What's so special about having a globe?
Well, we looked at maps and stuff like that, and like we said, you won't have the normal, map thing that's open on the top, and you can run around and see everything. So, it'll be maps that players. We want players to create maps and stuff like that, and trade them and give them to other players. If you found a nice area and stuff, and you got that skill, you'll be able to create a map and give it to other players. But we'll have a few things that won't be available, right? Like things you can't do with it. And one of them will be like, say for instance, you're running in this area and you want to pinpoint certain stuff that you found very interesting, maybe like an entrance to a dungeon or something on your map. If you had the globe, you can add all these different maps into your globe, right? And then you can actually do things like pinpoint it, and stuff like that. So you can find do a little bit more map editing onto it, basically.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So that sounds like it'd be something useful to have. And will it look nicer than the player-made version? I mean, will we know that this person must have been in Kickstarter or paid an enormous amount of money to somebody else to buy it from them?
Like every item we have here, will definitely be unique in its own way, right? Compared to anything that's been made in the world after the Kickstarter, right? Mm-hmm. So it'll definitely stand out. All these items will definitely be standing out, in some way or another than just the normal ones that you can make in the world.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Okay, what questions have we got?
All right, here we go. This is a good question based off of what you guys are talking about. Drunken KOZ, I think it's cause. I'm glad that he wanted to put he's drunken in his name. He said, on the features list for combat and looting, you mentioned that players will be able to buy insurance for items. Will the same apply to the Kickstarter items we receive, or will they automatically come with the required insurance? I'm worried that if we enter a PvP-enabled zone with our Kickstarter items, that they'll be lost if somebody kills us.
Yeah, we definitely going to make sure, some Kickstarter rewards, we might make them bound to the person, right, in the sense that if you're trading them, they can't be stolen that easily because obviously, they are pretty unique items and so on, right? Mm-hmm. But there's insurances, you can get insurances for anything, right? So it wouldn't matter what item it is, we'll definitely make sure that the things doesn't just get taken away.
The item is soul bound to you. It does not drop.
Yeah, basically, it depends on how we go with it, right? But that's pretty much what I think we would definitely look at, right? We don't want somebody that supports us on a Kickstarter and spends X amount of money into it, right? And be a first supporter, and then he runs around and boom, he loses everything, and now he doesn't have anything.
Like the compass, which would be something that you might go adventuring with. I would hate to lose that whenever I die, because I plan to die a lot. My other name is Sir Die a Lot. Yeah. Okay. Well, that's good. So, okie dokie. Next.
All right. Yeah, we got next question here. I don't remember who asked this question, but he said, I love the idea of player-owned dungeons, but could this be explained a little further? Will they be built under your house? Will the monsters you lure there respawn? Is there any risk to your own wealth? And if they complete the dungeon, etc.?
So yeah, one of the things we were looking at with the community also was they wanted player-owned dungeons, but there's different types of them. Like we were looking at, say a trapdoor where you can go down from your house into whatever dungeon you have underneath it, and that'll be set on the sides of your house. Or others where you roam into the world and you say you come across a piece of land as or like a hole in the wall and a mountain or stuff like that. It's like a cave or something, but in front of it you have a set of blocks, that you can buy. So you can actually buy these grids, and then either create an entrance that you can only open up like a doorway or something into it, or you can basically have it open for other people to come in as they wish, because you'll be able to set your own dungeons to who you want to invite also, if you want to make it open for the public or just for yourself, right? Now, when you're into these dungeons, we're looking at different ways to spawn mobs and stuff in it, right? And what we came up with was you can go into the world, gather certain stuff in the world that attracts certain animals or creatures, like say for instance, hay could attract, maybe if you place it down in your dungeon, it will attract ogres or something like that, right? So you go into your dungeon after you've built it out, you place the hay down, and then maybe there's a chance for you to attract them. It doesn't mean you will get them, there will be maybe, say, a dragon eats ogres and loves ogres, for instance, as an example, then he might spawn a dragon instead of an ogre.
That might attract the dragons. After the ogres move in, he says, free lunch.
Yeah, stuff like that. But we want to create the mobs to be very, not just a normal, like other games where they spawn at a set point also, we want them to be able to migrate into different areas and so forth, and all those things are actually possible with our internet we have, right?
Something else that we've talked about, is the risk and the reward of going into dungeons, and we've talked about this quite a bit in the live shows about how the creatures may loot a player that they kill, and add some of their items or all of their items or whatever we haven't decided to their treasure chest, and then if you kill that boss creature or whatever, then maybe you get to go into their treasure chest and carry out as much as possible, but also that the skills, dungeon making skills and stuff of the person who owns the dungeon may be affected by how effective their creatures are, and also that they may receive part of the loot of dead players that their creatures that they attracted into their dungeon have killed and successfully looted. So it might be you may not even have to charge admission to your dungeons, because you may just make all your money off loot. So quite complex, but I think it's almost like what we've talked about with that is a mini game all in itself. So it's quite fun.
Yeah, and also looking at putting ratings on dungeons and stuff like that, right? So the higher ratings and so on, the more people will come and so on. So yeah, it can be it's a good idea to make sure that we do reward the dungeon creators as well, right? Because you want to get something from all the hard work that you put into it, right?
Mm-hmm. Operate it like a business.
Yeah.
No, I'm serious.
Well, if you're good at building dungeons, then it will be a profit in and of itself, because no player will survive it. Lots of loot.
No player will survive it. Evil
that's
is an
my
optimist.
Well,
Or a pessimist. I don't know which one it is. No one will survive it.
capitalist.
A capitalist.
But the idea is that it's a dynamic dungeon. That even if somebody writes up I went through this dungeon thing on the internet, it's not going to be the same for the next player that comes through.
Right. Yeah.
And that, I think, is the most important aspect of this, is that it's a dynamic system. That maybe you can attract an ogre that then attracts dragons. This may not necessarily be a good thing. Or it may be a wonderful thing.
Yeah. Could be a lot of fun.
It definitely gives players time to pause and think, do I really want to go into this place?
Do I want to donate my stuff, my armor, to Evilist Overlord?
Exactly. But on the flip side, if enough players die in your dungeon, the loot drop is insane.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
And this would give a serious incentive for players to come to the dungeon.
And to work together.
Or to work together.
Yep.
Yeah, I just want to mention too also that they won't just be player created dungeons. Developers will have their own developer dungeons as well, right? So there'll be different opportunities for different type of gameplay and style that people want.
Okay. We have time for one more question in this episode.
Okay. Evo, I sent you a question.
So is this game like RuneScape, like a third-person view, or is it more in the lines of other MMORPGs, a choice to go first-person? Also, is it controlled by a mouse or a WASD key and arrow keys?
Well, it's just like other MMOs, like World of Warcraft is a good example, where you can zoom all around it. You can zoom right into your character, right? It's a fully fledged 3D game, and also with control, that being that you can use the mouse to control it. But if you really want to, you can use the WASD keys and arrow keys as well to control it. So it has all opportunities, whichever way suits you.
Now, also with that, something that is in this is like the views. And I know we've talked about putting in some special stuff for people who are streaming or making video content, and so those tools might be available as well.
Yeah, that's great.
So, yeah, okay.
And just to mention, we are looking at putting it on a browser as well. So you wouldn't need to download the whole client and everything like that, just like your normal MMOs, but you can actually play it in the browser as well.
So let me ask a question about that, because when I think of browser game, I think of cheap-ass web game. Why should I be interested in this game if it plays in a browser as well?
The technology has actually changed so much. So there's a few games out there that are definitely comparable to any fully fledged MMO game that plays perfectly in browser. And we actually already tested it in the browsers, and it plays just exactly the same as we would play on the client side. Like it's exactly the same way of playing. Only difference is the browser we set up a streaming systems, to download the content and stuff like that, on the back end and so on. So, but that's going to be the absolute only difference there is.
Oh, so it might be on the player side, it might be bandwidth difference because they're having to download so much more than if they're using a client.
Yeah, it would still be only the first time that you download it, right? Or anytime there's an update. So yeah, that's only difference, But then it allows you to basically log in. You can have your client one, right, that you play on your computer, and say, for instance, like you said, when you're at work and you quickly need to get into the game, and you don't want to use your phone and stuff, and you got your laptop there or something, or the company computer, you can quickly jump in the browser and do it.
Yes. Okay. Well, very good. So, okay, well, that's about it for this episode. When we come back, we'll have more questions, more stuff to go over. And so those of you watching live, it'll be in just a few minutes, top of the hour. And those of you watching on YouTube, they're being posted every 2 hours. So stay tuned for the next one.